हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आविश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 11, verse number 20. So in verse number 13, yesterday Purushottam Prabhu was asking about this Vaisaradhya. So this Vaisaradhya is not Prathama Bhakti, as wrongly said. It is third case, singular, Vaisaradhi. Because there is Ikshaya along with it. So it is Vaisaradhya, Ikshaya. Both are in Tritiya Bhakti. So we are reading here, Krishna is continuing to explain.
अध्ययन कर रहे हैं.
ये कैसे आ गया? So he was explaining about the symptoms of a person who is liberated. And in the previous slokas he described how he is detached from anything, everything. And then he said that if somebody has only knowledge of Shabda Brahma but not of Parabrahma, then that is also futile. And there are two explanations given of Parabrahma. One is just Brahman, means one has theoretical knowledge but no experience of Brahman. But Vishnath Chakravarti gave a different understanding and says that Parabrahma here means Bhagavan. So even if one has knowledge of Brahman but not of Bhagavan, then also he is not going to be liberated if he does not accept Bhagavan's transcendental form. So in Advaitavad there are two types of Advaitvadis. One is what you hear popularly, another is according to Bhāgavatam. So Bhāgavatam accepts Advaitavad, it does not deny it. But the Advaitavad, the way it is described in Bhāgavatam, also hinted in Gita by Sri Krishna, is different than what is known at present Advaitavad. In the present Advaitavad, Brahman is the highest reality and Bhagavan is considered as an upadhi of Brahman by Maya, Vidya Upadhi. So he is not considered as having transcendental body. Bhagavatam's view is that Brahman is there, but Brahman is also a Shakti of Bhagavan without any qualities. Means Bhagavan is quality with qualities and Brahman is without qualities. So sometimes Bhagavan is called personified Brahman. This is how the Advaitvadis of Bhagavatam see that he is Brahman in personified form, but transcendental. So only these types of Brahmavadis or Advaitvadis can attain moksha or Brahma Sayujya, not the others, because others, as it is clearly stated, Shreya Shritim Bhakti Mudasyate Vibhok Kleshyanti tu ye keval bodha labdhaye and yesam asau kleshal eva shishyate yatha sthula tushavaghātinam. So this is spoken by Brahma himself, that if they do not accept bhakti, which is actually the path of Shreya, Shreya Shriti. Shriti means path. And Shreyas is ultimate good or ultimate welfare. So that if they reject that, then they cannot attain. So therefore they come down. Anadrit patanti adhanadrit yusmadangra. It's also there in the stuti of the devas. So therefore Bhagavan says that if one does not have that, then vacham hina maya rakshati dukkha dukkhi. So such person will only attain useless labor as the outcome of his labor. And then he again continues in the next Yashyam name pavanamanga karma sthityudbhava prana nirodhanamasya leelavataripshat janma vasyad vandhyam giram tam bibriyat nidhira. So he says that speech in which there is no description of my activities, pavanam karma, my activities which are purifying, such as sthiti udbhav prana nirodham asya, that maintenance, creation, destruction of this universe. And on top of that, Leela avatar ipshita janmava, the description of birth, etc., of those avatars which are very much desirable. Avatareshu ipshita, avatar ipshita. And tesham janma, avatar ipshita janma means there are various avatars, but it is generally Rama and Krishna, the two avatars which are most famous and desirable, and they have performed human-like pastimes. So their pastimes are described here in Bhāgavatam as Ramayana, of course, is all about Ram. So if the speech does not contain these pastimes of Bhagavan, then it says Vandhyam Giram Tam Bibhriyat Nadhira. Then such speech is considered as important, and one should not maintain, uphold or utilize such speech, because this is not going to give any benefit and it will only result in trouble. So nanu tvat sahita eva sa vak ka kim tattvam asmad tvam asmad jiva brahmakya प्रतिपादिका वा काचिदन्या एव वा इति तां स्पष्टम् आवद स्पष्टम् आवेदय iti apekshayamaha. So in the previous one he said vacham maya hinam, speech which is devoid of me. So now if this question is asked that what is that speech which contains you or which speaks about you? Kakim tattvam asmadi Jiva Brahmakya Pratipadika. That is it, that speech which says that Jiva and Brahman are one. Tattvamasi Adi. I think that should be. Or it is some other speech. Please explain that clearly. So then he describes that here. It is not that speech which talks about oneness between Jiva and Brahman, but the speech in which there is a description of my activities. Yasyam mam karma charitam. And what are my karma? So first is Vishwasya Sthiti Udbhava Prana Nirodha Samharasya. So there is a description of maintenance, manifestation and dissolution of the Vishwa, the universe. And better than that is the other one, which Lila Avatari Pshit Janma. So Tatopi Utkrishtatamatvena Vimrishyah. So even superior to that is being described in the second half of the verse. Lila Avatare Suipshitam Sarva Jagat Subhakam Majjanma Janmoplakshita Balya Liladikam Yatra. So that includes the most auspicious pastimes for the universe, such as my birth, etc. And those are the activities of the avatars which are most desirable. Tacharitam nesyat tam giram ved lakshnam api bandhyam viflam dhira pandito nevibhyat. So if the speech does not have this, then such speech he says you should not maintain, that means you should not utilize that. Why? Because it is futile, it is worthless. Even if it is going to give you some benefit, that will be only material, which means temporary, and will be the cause of bondage. So therefore better to remain silent or use that speech. So that is the speech one should hear, in which Bhagavan's pastimes are described. So tameva shunyat nityam. Apandita eva bibhriyat. One who does not listen to this and maintains the other speech, says that person is apandita, is not learned. Evam jigyasya pohya nanatvam brahmamatmani uparameta virjam manomai arpya sarvage. So now, after describing all this Baddha Mukta activities, he comes now towards bhakti. So he says, in this way, by jigyasa, by understanding the difference between body and self, one should give up the illusion that we have various types of identity, nanatva. So this variety that we are human beings, animals, devas. So these are only external upadhis. And one should become detached, uparameta, virajam mano mai arpya sarvage. And one should fix one's mind on me, who is all pervading. So that is his recommendation. Jnana Margam Upsambharati. So he is concluding the instructions on Jnana Marga. Evam jigyasaya ukta lakshana prakarena vicharena Atmani swasmin nanatva brahmam dehadvaya abhiman lakshanam devatva manushyatva adi bhedam apohya nirasya. So in this way, after deliberating in the way which has been described earlier, one should give up the illusion of identifying with two types of bodies, which are gross and subtle. And with that, then one thinks that I am a Deva, because they have subtle bodies. I am a human being, gross bodies. So all these things should be given up. And Ukta Lakshanaya Bhaktya cha Mai Virajam Vipak Maya Kasayam Manasamarpya. And then with the definition, with the bhakti which has been described above, one should offer one's mind which has become free from the impurities. And then what will happen? He says this is the process of attaining moksha on Gyan Marg. That one has to understand the difference between body and self, and come to understanding that one is Brahman, and then continue doing bhakti, which will further purify the mind, and then this bhakti will give more gyan. So it will give the experience then, jnanena uparamet, and then one should tat sayujyam prapnuyat. So then one can attain sayujya by that. So this is what Krishna describes. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. So this is from Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. So first he said Brahma Bhuta Prasannatmana Shochati na Kankshati. So that is the first part, that one comes to understand Brahman. And then Bhakti Sama Sarveshu Bhutesu Mad Bhakti Labte Param. Then he continues doing Bhakti, and then with Bhakti he comes to know Bhagwan. And with this knowledge then he enters into Brahman, because that's his goal. So Vishate Tadanantaram. So this is the process of Sayujya according to Bhāgavatam as well as Bhagavad Gita. What if one is unable to fix the mind like this? What should be done by such a person? So that is described in the next verse. Yadyanisho dharayitum mano brahmani nischalam mai sarvani karmani nirapeksha samachara. If one is unable to fix the mind on Brahman without deviation, then one should perform all actions for my sake, means offer them to me, and one should live without any expectation, means act without desire for the results of one's actions or attachment to them. Evam cha madarpit niskam karmana eva antahkarana suddhir antakarana suddhi adhinam eva bhakti sahitam jnanam tena cha brahmani nischal manodharana tato brahma bhuta prasannatma ityadi madukter vidya uparama samaye vidya utirnya mad bhakte prapti taya cha vipakvakasayasya manso mai samyak nididhyasnam tato bhakti utthena shuddha jnanena sayujyam iti krama. So he has summarized the whole process of Brahma Sayujya according to Bhāgavatam. So in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna first he speaks about Karma Yoga, right? Third, fourth, fifth chapter. And there he also says, Sarva karma khala partha jnane parisamapyate. So by doing karma yoga, what is the benefit? The heart becomes purified. Because in the beginning people have desires. Then you continue following the instructions of the Vedas. So you come to the platform of Niskam karma. And then in Niskam karma also, there are two types. Niskam karma, you just do Niskam karma. Other is you do Niskam karma and offer them to Bhagavan. So that is really what we call as Sang-Siddha Bhakti. Yat karosi yadasnasi, yat juhosi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi konte tat kurusya madarpanam. So this is also what Krishna says, that you offer them to me. And this will purify the heart, Shuddhantakarana. So then when the heart is purified, then you get knowledge and you do bhakti, sahitam jnanam. So then mind becomes fixed in Brahman, Brahmani Nischal Mano Dharana. And then one comes to the Brahma Bhuta platform, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. So then you continue bhakti still. Then Vidya will come to an end, Vidya Uprama. This was described earlier also. And then you will go beyond Vidya, and then you will get more knowledge, means experience through bhakti. So mad bhakte prapti, bhaktya mam abhijanati. And then tayacha vipakyo kasayasya manaso mai samyak nididhyasana. Then mind will become completely fixed on him. And then tato bhakti utthena suddha jnanena sayujya. And then there will be further knowledge, and then one will get Brahma Sayujya. So this is the process. Tatra kaschidap yadi nischal mano dharanatmikam chaturthi bhumikam api adhirodhum na shaknuyat. So if one is not able to come to this fourth platform, which is says that vipakasayasya mana mai samyak nididhyasanam, if one cannot come, means you start with karma yoga, then bhakti sahit jnana, Suddhantakarana, and then jnana, and then nischal mana. So if that is not possible, then you should go back to the previous step, which was niskam karma. So that's what he's saying. Tada swanta karanasya samyak suddha bhavam anumaya tat shuddhi artam punarapi madarpit niskam karmeva kuryat. So he says, if you are not able to fix the mind, then from that you should infer that you still need purification of the heart. So anuman is important. So if mind is unable to be fixed, that means there is impurity in the heart. So he says, then go back and do niskam karma. That will purify the heart, then only you will be able to fix it. So therefore it says madarpit, and that niskam karma also, madarpit niskam karma. It should be offered to him. इति उद्धवम लक्ष्य कृत्या है यदि अनिशयते सर्वाणि नित्य नैमित्तिक निवृत्त कर्माणि. And which karma has to be given up? Because according to Purvamimamsa, you only give the karmas which are described or prescribed in the Vedas. Here he says all the karmas, everything. So he says nitya karma, naimittik karma, nivritta karma, all of them should be. And according to Gita, even lokik karma, this should also be given up. श्रद्धालु में कथा शृण्वन Subhadra loka pavanihi gayan anusmaran karma janma cha bhinayan muhu. Then if one has Shraddha, that person is called Shraddhalu. Dayalu, Shraddhalu, Kripalu, they are all speaking about the Aluch Pratyaya. So one who has Shraddha, then he should listen my stories which are purifying and auspicious. Subhadra Lokapavani. He should sing them, he should remember them, and he should also enact them like stage. You can also do play of his pastimes. He said Janma Karam Cha Abhinayan Moho. Repeatedly they have to be performed. So we have to hear Katha every day. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. So Bhaktir Bhavati Nastaki. So hearing, chanting, remembering, and fourth one is added here, enacting. So you can also use your artistic skills to do the play of his pastimes. Tadevam sardhais chaturbhir gyan yoga muktva bhakti yoga maha. So then in 4.5 slokas he is describing bhakti yoga. No, Gyan Yoga was described in 4.5 slokas. Now he talks about Bhakti Yoga. Shraddhalur ityadina maya syahi akuto bhayeti antena. So it starts, the description of Bhakti Yoga starts here in this verse, which is verse number 23, and it will go up to the 15th verse of the next chapter. So he is going to talk about Bhakti Yoga in great detail. Atra Shilarthakena Aluch Pratyayena Bhaktau Apadhik Shraddhavanto Gyani Prabhrityo Vyavritta. So this is a very interesting comment he makes, and this also shows the importance of knowing Sanskrit Vyakaran. Kya ho gaya?
No, Babaji, I was thinking he'll get answered here, but he didn't get. So in previous section, he previous shloka, he told that one should perform his nishkama karma until he is able to get fixity on bhakti. Now, in our understanding,
That is for the Gyan Margis.
that is what I was asking.
So don't worry about that.
Okay, so it is starting a different section from here, because I was thinking this Shraddhalu is maybe linked with that, and I was getting confused.
So that's why he is now saying that. So he makes a very interesting comment. So he says that this Shraddhalu, how the word Shraddhalu is made, we know the word Shraddha. Right? Shraddhavan labte jnanam. So Shraddha means faith, trust. And Shraddhalu, there is Alu in this. So Alu, everybody is familiar with the Alu. So this is a pratyaya, Alu pratyaya. So then we apply Shraddha plus Alu, it becomes Shraddhalu. So what is the meaning of this Alu? So the Alu is describing a person. Shraddha is a bhav or quality, dharma. And Shraddhalu is a person who has Shraddha. But what is the speciality of the Alu pratyaya? It is Aluch actually, Chakar is dropped. So it describes a person who has the Shraddha like a nature, not Apadhik, that you preach to somebody, they get Shraddha, then they do it for 2 days, then the temperature goes down, so then they stop. So not that type of Shraddha. So Shraddha means here is, he says this is used in the Shilartha. This Aluch Pratyaya is applied in the sense of Shila, means this is the characteristic of the person. So therefore he says that therefore Shraddhalu here segregates it from the previous person who was also doing bhakti, the Gyan Margi, but his Shraddha was not in bhakti. His Shraddha was in Brahma Sayujya. He was doing bhakti as a means, and this person is actually a bhakta. So therefore he says Shraddhalu. So that's very important. So Shraddhalu mein katha shanvan. So that's why for him he is only talking about bhakti now. So so we have to know that the two types of Shraddha here. One is Apadhiki Shraddha, other is Swabhaviki Shraddha. So Apadhiki Shraddha is not the one which is accepted here. प्रथमतः एव श्रद्धालुरिति पदोपन्यासो भक्तौ ईदृश श्रद्धावान एव अधिकारी इति ज्ञापयति. So from the very beginning, because the word Shraddhalu has been used here, so that is an indication that on the path of bhakti, the adhikar comes only from Shraddha. That's why when Rupa Goswami is talking about adhikari in the second chapter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then he says three divisions, but all three have Shraddha. Komal Shraddha, then Shraddhavan, another one is Dhrada Shraddha. So just the level of Shraddha which makes them as Uttam, Madhyam and Kanishta. But Shraddha is the common factor. So therefore Adu Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangata Bhajan Kriya. So bhakti's beginning is with Shraddha. Yad Vakshate, he will also say later on when he is talking about the adhikaras in karma, jnana and bhakti. So yadrichaya mat kathado jat shraddhastu yah puman na nirvindo nati sakto bhakti yogo asya siddhida. So who is qualified to do bhakti yoga? He says one who has shraddha in my katha, etc. Which he also said Shraddhalu mein katha shanvan. And how does it happen? Yadrichaya. Yadrichaya means this is not material Shraddha, it comes with the association of a sadhu. And this person is neither too renounced nor too attached. If he is too attached, he won't be able to do bhakti. If he is very renounced, then also he will not do. Because for bhakti you have to do puja, you have to make offerings, so you cannot be completely renounced, wandering, and not too much attached. So he says such a person attains perfection by bhakti yoga. And then another one, tavat karmani kurvite na nirvidyate yavata mat katha shravanadava shraddha yavanna jayate. So there also he says that once you get Shraddha in Mat Katha, then you become qualified for Bhakti and not for Karma Yoga anymore. Jnana Karma Adhikari Bhyo Asya Bhedasya. So therefore, one who is qualified to do Bhakti, he is different from the people who are qualified to do Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga. Subhadra, so Subhadra Loka Pavani, Shraddhalu me Katha Shanvan, Subhadra Loka Pavani. So Subhadra means auspicious. So what does it mean? What are those kathas? So he says, Dadhi Paya Parastri Chaurya, Venu Gana Rasadhya Gayan. So this is the Lok Pavani Katha that his pastime where he steals yogurt, milk and others' wives. That is also Lok Pavani. and Venu, so playing on the flute, singing, Ras Lila, all these pastimes. And Gayan Anusmaraniti, so singing and remembering Punya Swata Eva Bhavetiti Bhava. So he says that singing, by remembering, the knowledge of these things will happen naturally. So he talked about in that sloka Gayan, Anusmaran and Karma. So next is Karma. Karma Kaliya Damanadikam Janma Nandotsavadikam. So karma means his activities such as chastising Kaliya snake, his birth, festival celebrated by Nanda Maharaj, Natakadi Ritya Abhinayan, and also an act in the form of a play, Chakarat Gayan Anusmaranch, and by Cha you also apply singing and remembering them. So that's prescribed for devotees. Madarthe dharma kamarthan acharan mad apashraya labhate nischalam bhaktim mayuddhava sanatane. So he says that by practicing dharma, kama, artha for my sake and taking shelter of me, Uddhava, one attains firm devotion unto me, who is eternal. So now he is not saying that you give up dharma, artha and kama, but he says you do those activities which are related to dharma, artha and kama for my sake. So if you have to do yajna, do it for his pleasure. If you have to make money, then earn wealth for him. If you have to engage in kama, then for his sake. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bhartarshava. So, but madapashraya, but you should be sheltered under me, not taking shelter of money or wife or husband or country or somebody, but my shelter. So that is important. So he explains each one of them now. So for example, dharma, how they have to be practiced. It says madarthe mat sevartham, that all these dharma, artha, kama should be done as service to me. So mat janma yatra divase mat sarup Sri Gurudeva Ardhanadi divase cha dharma Brahman Vaishnava Sampradanak Anna Vastradi Danani. So what are the dharma? The dharma religious activities generally include what? Doing yajna, giving charity, distributing food. So he says people do these dharmic activities. So you also do it when it is my birthday. So he says Majjanam Yatra Divase, or it's day of my yatra, like Rath Yatra, or Mat Swarup Sri Gurudev Aradhan Divase, or the day of the worship of Guru, who is my Swarupa, like Guru Purnima is. So that is the day of Guru Aradhana. So on those days he says Brahman Vaishnava Sampradanak Anna Vastradi Danani. So do charity of food, cloth to the Vaishnavas, to the Brahmanas for his pleasure. So people do it on their own birthday. Cut a cake, celebrate your birthday, give feast to the devotees on your birthday. Right? So he says do it on his birthday or Guru Gurudev Upasana Day. Then Kama. What about Kama enjoyment? So he says Vaishnav Samaj Prapta Madhur Mahaprasada Anna Bhojana Shrak Chandana Tambula Upyoga Vasan. So you give some nice Mahaprasad. Mahaprasadan Bhojan, garland, chandan, tambul, upyogi, vasan, cloth, paridhan to the Vaishnavas. Because kama means objects of enjoyment. So you give them to Vaishnavas, Vaishnav Samaj. Then Artha, wealth. Artha Vishnu Vaishnav Sevartha Dravya Ahranani. Acharan. So earn one money for the sake of serving Vishnu and Vaishnavas. So this is Madarthe Dharma Artha Kama. Dharma Kama Arthan Acharan. Acharan Kurvan Nischalam Sadhan Sadhya Dashyo Sthiram Neshtikim. So one should practice this both in the sadhana state and also in the sadhya state, these activities. So this will give Nastiki Bhakti, means fixed devotion to Bhagwan. Sanatana iti tadaradhyasya madvigrahasya sanatanatvat. So Sanatan is replied to him, so he is not himself personally present, then his Vigraha. So his Vigraha is also called Sanatan here. And then he says because his Vigraha is Sanatan, then Bhakti is also Sanatan. Bhakti rapi Sanatani Nishchalaya iti bhava. So just as Bhagwan is eternal, his Bhakti is also eternal. So how does this Bhakti come? So it says Satsanga Labdhaya Bhaktya Mai Mam Sa Upasita Savai Me Darshitam Sadbhir Anjasa Vindate Padam. So by the devotion which is attained by Satsanga, by the association with devotees, the person worships me, and then by that worship something is... It's okay? In between it looked like gone. So then he will attain the destination which is shown or described by the devotees. Sadbhir darshitam padam anjasa vindate. Means he will attain the association of Bhagwan himself. एवं भूतायाम भक्तौ का प्रवर्तकयति अपेक्षायाम आह सत्संग. So if this question is asked, how does one engage in this bhakti? Pravartan means how does one begin this? What brings one to devotion? So he says it's only by satsanga. So there is big analysis which Jiva Goswami has done in Bhakti Sandarbha on this topic, how does one get bhakti? So he shows there that it comes by satsanga. Bhaktya ukta lakshanaya nashtikya upasita. And then this bhakti which he has attained, then he does upasana to Bhagwan, bhajmano bhavati. Tatascha sadbhireva darshitam padam maccharanam madham vansa shigram. So then he very quickly attains the place, my abode or my feet, as has been shown or described by the devotees. And these are the stages: Ruchi, Asakti, Rati, Prem, Bhumika, Rudhasan, Vindate, Prapnata. So in Nastiki Bhakti it was From Nishtha, then comes Ruchi, then Asakti, then Bhav, then Prema, then Bhagavan. So these are the various stages one attains him.
Just here in the previous verse, while he was using kama, he used tambula. Tambula here in the is in sense, pan only is tambula. No? So they are offering tambula to Vaishnavas.
Some Vaishnavas eat. So it's not us, not for us. But tambula is offered. So some take that. It's no problem. So now Uddhava is asking question to him. Uddhava vacha sadhu stavottama shloka matah kidrigvidha prabho bhakti stvayupyujyeta kidrishi sadbhiradrita etanme purushadhyaksha lokadhyaksha jagat prabho pranataya anuраktaya prapannaya च कथ्यताम् त्वं ब्रह्म परम व्योम पुरुषः प्रकृते परः अवतीर्णोऽसि भगवन् स्वेच्छोपात्य पृथक् बपु. So he says that, O Uttam Sloka, or you who is praised in Uttam, best verses, choice verses, according to you, who is a devotee? Because you say Satsang Labdhya. So who is that Satpurusha? What are his characteristics? How can I know if I have to get association? So, Kidrig Vidha Prabhu. And Bhakti, what is the type of Bhakti? Means what does Bhakti involve? Tvayupyajyata Kidrish Sadbhiradhrita. What is that which has been honored or respected by the sadhus? So you please explain to me. And you are Purushadhyaksha, means you are the in charge of the Purushas. Lokadhyaksha, you are also the in charge of all the Lokas. Jagat Prabhu, you are the master of the universe. So you speak to me, and then he speaks about himself also. Pranataya, Anuraktaya, Prapannaya cha Kathyata. So one who is bound down to you, who is attached to you, who is surrendered to you. So three things he says about himself, and three addresses for Krishna. So you speak, and you are Brahman, you are supreme, you are all-pervading Purusha beyond Prakriti. You have come here with your own will, and you accept various bodies, Prathak. So this is Uddhava's question. Bhakti pradurbhavakam sadhumeva shrutva talakshanam pritchati. So when Uddhava heard that bhakti comes by association of sadhu, then he wants to know the characteristic of that sadhu or devotee. Matastav sammata sadbhiradritam bhakti stvai kidrishi upyajyata. So what is your opinion about the sadhu, and what is that bhakti which has been liked or honored by the sadhu devotees, which is appropriate or to be performed to you? You are Purushadhyaksha, means Purushanam Mahat Srashtradinam Adhyaksha. So you are the supreme regulator of the Purushas. So Karnodakshai, Garbhodakshai, Kshirodakshai, these are the three Purushas. Mahat Srashtradinam, they create Mahat Tattva and so on. So this shows his supreme Aishwarya, Paramashwarya. Lokadhyaksha, Lokasya Mahavaikuntha Lokasya Adhyaksha iti apara sampat. Loka here means Vaikuntha Loka, so that shows that he has unlimited opulence. Tadapi jagati asmin maike api loko Udharanartha kripya prakarshena bhavsi pradurbhavsi. Although you are like this, means you have supreme Aishwarya, supreme opulence, still you appear here in this material world, which is product of Maya, by your grace. So kripya prakarshena bhavsi pradurbhavsi iti aparam karunyam. This is your supreme compassion. And therefore please explain to me. Pranataya mahiyam pranatatvepi aham na jagat janvat kim tu anuragi iti. He says, although I am bowing down to you, but I am not like other people who also go to temple, bow down, then they ask, please give me this. So he says, I am anuragi. I am devoted to you. And Anraktatvepi naham arjunadivat devtantaropaske ityaha prapannaya. And although I am having anurag for you, I am also completely surrendered to you. I am not like Arjuna who also worships other devatas. He says, I don't worship anyone else. Only you, Ekanta Bhakta. Because Arjuna was doing puja to many to get this astra, that astra. Kincha tvad bhakti pravartaka sadhus tvat swarupat bhinno api tvat swarup bhuta eva ityaha tvamiti. He says the person, your devotee, although he is your swarupa and non-different from you, but he is actually, no, first he says that although he is different from you, but he is just like you. Then describes him. Vyomavad asangaha yat prakrite para. You are detached from everything just like the sky because you are beyond Prakriti. Tadapi prakrite asmin loke kripya jivodharartham avtiranosi. Although you are transcendental to this material nature, still by your grace you have appeared here in this material world to uplift the jivas. Kidrasa svair bhaktair ichya upattani grihitani prathak bhutani vapunsi. How are you? That by the will of your devotees you have taken various forms. Yatasa swarup bhutani vapunsi eva. But these forms are also part of your swarupa. They are not like Jiva is taking various bodies. They are not. His bodies are not like that. Tvamsa bhakti pravartanartham bhaktebhyo dadasi. So, to propagate your bhakti, you give your bodies to your bhaktas, means you appear before them and you give them your swarupa bhutani vapunsi. Swabhaktair ichhaya upattani. Okay, he is giving a totally different meaning. So he says that for the sake of your devotee, you take various bodies and you give them to your devotees. Means he is talking about the Siddha Swarupa of the devotees. It can also mean that you take various bodies, but he is giving a completely different meaning. Yaduktam Naradena, as Narada has said, Prajyamane Mait Am Suddham Bhāgavatam Tanum. So, that he gave this Bhagavati Tanu to Bhagavan. So Bhagavati Tanu means that which belongs to Bhagavan. So that's the meaning he is taking here. Ateva tvad bhaktam gurum lokas tvad swarupatveneva dhyayanti iti bhava. He says, therefore, your devotee who is the Guru, so people worship him just like your swarupa. Yadvatvam atmaramatvat jagati asmin udasino api swabhakti pracharnartham avatarasya evatyā. So after giving that esoteric meaning, now he gives the common meaning. He says alternatively, it means that for uplifting the people of this world, although you are Atmarama and thus you are indifferent, but still to propagate your bhakti, you manifest here in this material world in different avatars. Svechaya upattani prathak prathak vapunsi Sri Kapila Dattatreya Sri Naradadi Akara Yenasa Yaduktam Bahumurti Ek Murtiman. So by your own will you have taken various different types of forms like Kapila, Dattatreya, Narada. So therefore you are called Bahumurti Ek Murti, that you have one form and yet you manifest various forms in this material world. So this is the question of Uddhava. And now Bhagavan is going to give reply, which will go up to the verse number 15 of the next chapter. Bhushan.
Babaji Pranams, I have two questions and a comment. We'll ask one by one. So the first question is that this word Shraddhalu, would it be wrong to apply it for Jnana Marga? For example, the Jnana Margis have Shraddha in Vedanta Sutra, Upanishads, so they have the Shraddhalu. Would it be wrong to apply the Shraddhalu word in that context? Or it can only be applied for Katha of Sri Krishna?
No, in this particular context he is applying to Bhakta only, not to Jnani. But if in that context it can be applied.
Okay. So one more question is this, Shraddha comes from Satsanga. In Jnana Marga also they talk about Satsanga, and then Shankaracharya is writing about Satsangatve, Nitsangatvam, Nisangatve, Nirmohatve, Nishchalatvam, Nishchalatve, Jiva Mukti. But is there a reason why Satsanga is more kind of important here? Because everybody says Satsanga, so is it also important for them? But it said Vairagya is more important.
Yeah, here this Shraddha is also different type, that's why it is important. Because this is a principle which is different from them, that Bhakti is Antaranga Shakti of Bhagavan. So it cannot come by any material activity or any material association. So it comes only from Bhagavan and then through his devotees. So therefore satsang here is more important than anywhere else. Because without the satsanga of the devotee, one is not going to get this Shraddha.
Thank you, Babaji. Just one comment is that in the Datta Sampradaya, when I grew up in, they used to offer Tambula, and that was my favorite prasad. It was very good.
Where?
When I was growing in the Datta Sampradaya, so they offer Tambula. They also used to offer Hukka also. Hukka I will not take up. The Tambula, they used to offer one Tambula, and then they used to cut up the pieces, and everybody used to get one part.
Okay. So that what is that? Just the leaf, or you get that hard?
It was leaf, but it was all of this nice stuff inside, like roses and the dry fruit and sweet, and maybe they also put some beetle nut little bit, but it was mostly sweet and it was very good.
Okay. So it's that gulukand basically.
Good.
That is the sweet part, the gulukand. Moini.
In this verse 23, where it says that the one should hear and sing about him. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling that he's making a division that some are Shubhadra, these activities like playing the Venu and Rasa Lila, etc. And the karma, Kaliya Damana Dikam, falls under the category of karma. Why he divides them like this? Why Kaliya Damana Dikam is also not in the category of Shubhadra, and aren't this Venu, Gana, Rasadya, and Dadhipaya,
So you don't.
Is this not also karma?
Because in the sloka the two words are used, Subhadra, Katha, Pavani, and karma is also used. So you have to make some distinction. So he is calling this as karma. Everybody knows that Ras Leela is more realizable than Kaliya Daman. Purushottam Prabhu.
This is same like comments for the tambula.
Hmm.
In Pushti Marga, it's very popular. They use tambula, but it doesn't have any tobaccos or any of these things. Maybe very little betel, but they use other spices there to make tambula, and they roll it like a this bidi. We call it bidi. I don't know, but they roll it like that and then offer it to the Lord.
Actually, the word bidi comes from the Sanskrit word vitika. It is offered like that, and that is called vitika. And vitika became bidi.
And it was also my favorite, when I used to go visit. Yeah.
Okay. So no wonder he mentions tambula here. Looks like many people like it. Braj Kishori.
Babaji, I'm going back to Shraddhalu. You mentioned that there's Upaviki and Svabhaviki Shraddha. Could that be aligned with Laukiki and Shastri Shraddha, or can Laukiki also be Svabhaviki?
Laukiki can also be Swabhaviki. Trividha Bhavati Shraddha. So, Shraddha Mayo Ayam Purusha Yat Shraddha Sayavase. But this is acquired Shraddha, means acquired Swabhava, and that is different. Still there is a difference between them. Sandeep.
So my question is, he's starting that verse from Shraddhalu, and then he's saying that it is completing the Gyan Marg part, and now this Bhakti part will be discussed. So when he's saying Shraddhalu, that means like in the Gyan Marg section, a lot of qualities of the person was said that he should be compassionate, he should be various qualities. So does that mean that Shraddhalu has already acquired those qualities, or he just has only faith and then proceeds in the Bhakti Marg and then gets those qualities?
So these are two separate paths. It's not that he is acquired or not acquired. This has nothing to do with that. The previous path ends there, and now he starts with bhakti, and their qualities he will describe later in the upcoming verses. Because it was already asked in the question, Sadhusta uttam sloka matah kidriga. What is sadhu? So he will describe that. So here nothing is assumed that you acquire this and then Shraddhalu. Shraddhalu is just satsang labdhya. Bhaktya. Okay.